This is America's Mayor Live from New Hampshire, Dover, New Hampshire. And once again, of course, I must show you my outfit. This is not a bulletproof vest. This is not a Superman outfit, just different colors. This is because I broke my back. Yep, I broke my back. Last Saturday, went to the hospital, got treated, I'm recovering. I'm feeling really good tonight. This morning, I had a tough time. I mean, it's strange. Thought things were really good last night. I got up this morning. I couldn't move. And then by midday, not quite midday, maybe 3, I'm okay right now. I mean, I'm not okay like I couldn't go out and catch a 40-yard pass, but I'm in relatively modest pain. And we'll see if that lasts. It could change again tomorrow morning like it did, or during the night or whatever. But we're trudging along, getting along, doing our work, keeping up with things. Really, really found the hearing today with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. enlightening, and thought he did a great job of illustrating the difference between a guy who wants to get something done, a guy who really believes in something, and a bunch of miserable, useless, silly politicians, including on our side of the aisle, meaning Republicans. Well, we were talking on the other show, and we'll go back and cover some of that, particularly the Kennedy hearings, and a little bit on what Xi Jinping tried to accomplish yesterday with his multi-billion-dollar parade, where he had on the podium the three demons. But let's go to what's going to happen in New York, because that's real close. And that's the incredible, completely unexpected idea that a communist Islamicist is running for mayor of New York, an out-and-out follower of Karl Marx, and a guy who is warped with the views of extremist Islam, with probably the silliest and sickest man in American politics, the jerk to the side there, who is a phony as a $3 bill. The guy who's a billionaire socialist. And just a jackass, complete jackass. Look at that stupid smile. He's going to look like that someday. So Mondami, every day something comes out about Mondami being just singularly on that one issue, he would be a disaster and ruin the greatest city on earth. The one now is Adams and the police commissioner are having a good run of it in terms of reducing crime. And they haven't gotten it back to where it was pre-pandemic yet, except in a few little categories they have. But they got it going in the right direction. And there's really only one major reason that they've done this, and that is police presence and police arrests. Now, unlike Washington, they didn't get the benefit of doubling their patrol force, which is the reason why it's down in Washington. And the mayor of Washington was honest enough and good enough, even though she opposed it originally, to thank Trump for doing it and to ask her to continue. That's a woman who's really a mayor. I mean, she really cares about the city. You know, if it was some other mayor, they make all kinds of excuses. It really isn't down. They're counting incorrectly. They're doing this. They're doing that. They had to do it by depriving people of human rights. And no, she said it's down. It's down remarkably, and it's because of the arrests they made and the police presence. Well, New York is going to. New York doesn't have the small number of police problem that DC has. Now, they did defund the police in New York. Nobody mentions it, but they did. De Blasio, who supports Mondami, took a wow. How much did he take out of the police department? Couldn't have been $1 billion. Well, he took a lot out of the police department, such that the police department is down to its lowest level that it's been at since I can remember, and too low a level to assure real safety in New York. But it's still 32,000 policemen, whereas in a city like Washington D.C., they have 400 police officers out on a patrol. Well, but when you bring in the National Guard and you bring in the extra agents, and you're going to triple that, people are going to see cops up there, you know what? And what happens is they don't commit crimes. Not that Mondami agrees with that. He doesn't. Nor do any of the left-wing fools agree with that. But it works. It truly works. And it did. And it's working in New York because they're using an excellent application of my CompStat program for gang-related crimes. They're identifying them. They're seeking all of the information they can get and predicting them in terms of time and place and severity. And they're interrupting them and catching them and bringing crime down. They have a name for it, like we used to have for everything. It makes it more interesting. And actually, you can focus on it and distinguish it from all the other things that the police do. And it's the gang strategy, and they basically set up a criminal group database out of CompStat. And they identify the gang crimes, where they are, who was involved, who do they know was involved. And very shortly, you got yourself some really good intelligence. Mondami has been dead set opposed to this all his days in the state legislature because it's racial profiling. It picks out black people as committing these crimes more often than white people, and Islamic people up at the top. Now, if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to reduce the crime because you're going to go pick up the wrong people. And you're not going to be able to save lives like they did, and the black people will die. So which is racism then? Is it racism to pretend that it isn't 80 or 90% blacks who are committing the crime? Let's just do it based on population. It's 40% white and 40% black. And is it better to do it that way and then at the end of the month have just a small reduction in crime and a small reduction in black crime? Or is it better to parcel it out where the crimes are committed? Well, of course, we know what the answer is, but not to the people who are criticizing this program. So we'll have to see if they continue it. But the police right. commissioner, I think, knowing that the program is in some jeopardy, and she has developed quite a good reputation for herself, made a speech on it yesterday and pointed out how this program has been very, very effective, and gave a couple of particulars as to how it's helped reduce the gang violence very, very quickly. So here's an intersection of all these things that really is important to see, because there is hope that you can reduce crime, but you have got to follow these rules. And you got to follow them based on accurate statistics. The minute you feel tempted to change the statistics, you've blown up the whole approach. And we sure would want to see that happen. Indeed, it is time to take a little side note to point out that Commissioner Tisch is doing a good job. First woman commissioner. She is doing a good job. She is very thorough. She obviously does real research in the police department's history and comes up with the programs that seem to have worked in the past. And I don't say that because they're mostly my programs, but I say that because that's what I did. And that's what all good police commissioners do. Well, there is tremendous fear all throughout the country that Zandami, Mandami, Bubapatigi will get elected. And if there isn't one thing, like he wants to turn over the means of production to the government, or he wants to make sure that people live in houses rent-free, or he wants free cars, free education, free. If that isn't there, you know that even if he doesn't get it, he's going to spend money in the budget like a wild man, and he's going to take things away from the protection and the quality of life for people who are paying the bills around here, the people who are the taxpayers, and he's going to gear all the money to the poor, some of whom deserve it, and some of whom are going to steal it and don't deserve it. So it's important. It's important to remind everyone where this comes from and where the assistance has to go. The assistance should go right to these precincts that are the big crime precincts and keep the statutes down there. And in the course of that, you learn that working with the police is a very, very uplifting and helpful thing, because it can mean a lot of other things to you as well. Maybe easing getting a job, reducing the fear of an employer taking you on when you haven't worked for some time. If a policeman can stand up for you and say, hey, he's a good guy. I mean, there are a lot of things that can be done by the police, and they are remarkably involved in this. I mean, some are good at it and some aren't, but they sure put the people who are good at it in that area. So the two the real problem now, is a political problem. And we're going to take a short break. And I saw a big smile on Ted's face, because whenever we get to political problems, aside from sports, that's what he likes best. We'll be right back. And then you'll get to see Ted in the absolutely sharp shirt that he has on tonight. U.S. Army Major Scott Smiley paid a high price serving our nation. Scott was leading his platoon in Iraq when a blast sent shrapnel through his eyes, leaving him blind and temporarily paralyzed. Scott would become the first blind active duty military officer before medically retiring years later. Thanks to friends like you, the Tunnel to Towers Foundation gave Scott and his family a mortgage-free, specially adapted smart home. Show your support for America's heroes now. Donate $11 a month to Tunnel to Towers at T2T.org.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month.
Wow.
Including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax,
Wow.
channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast. These deals are selling out.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because they like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster, and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee. Here we are, Rudy Giuliani, America's mayor, live. The show that tells you the stuff that they try to keep away from you on other shows, not other shows with good people like me on it and honest people and patriotic people, but good shows like, like Steve Bannon, or good shows like Dr. Maria, or good shows like, of course, Mike Lindell. Those people. A lot of those shows. Basically, we're talking about ones you got to stay away from are the broadcast media, useless bunch of miserable liars.
I'll say, I was entertained by your appearance on Laura Loomer's podcast. I don't know how regular that. I think it's nightly.
Is it on? Is it still on? Can people get it?
Oh yeah, I think people can find that.
Yeah, and she posted the clip to her X account.
Why did you like it?
Well, exactly what you were saying earlier. It's a little cliche, but it's like, yeah, no one's going to be telling you this.
Well,
kind of
Laura
stuff.
doesn't hold back, you know.
And she knows.
We know that,
She
right?
does her research, right?
She does do her research, absolutely, 100%, 100%. So let's see what else we have here on.
Well, if we want to talk about New York some more, Mayor, I'd be curious on your feelings. We're seeing some efforts to kind of consolidate, right, the opposition
and
to Mamdani.
The president is supposed to be involved in it. We cannot confirm or deny that he is or he isn't.
We cannot.
Although he has gone pretty far to say that he is.
Yes.
We don't know. I mean, we don't feel free to tell you unless he tells me I can. I don't feel free to tell you. So,
right. But what we're seeing is you're hearing from different folks. Some are saying, Eric Adams should get out. Maybe he can get some sort of role with the administration. Others have suggested something similar to Curtis Sliwa. Cuomo recently came out with a poll claiming that he is really the only one of the three that can take on Mamdani. And Mamdani seems to be, I don't want to say enjoying it, but he's kind of playing off of all the discussions,
so
and he's challenged Trump to a debate specifically.
Who was the fifth one? I always forget his name. There's a final guy in this that nobody, he gets like 1 point or something.
Yeah, I'll get him in here.
Maybe he doesn't count. So I'm going to give you the poll numbers here on here, kind of, okay?
Okay.
Sort of a rough.
Jim Walden, he withdrew. I think that was the name you were thinking. So we're really looking at 4 candidates right now: Mamdani, Cuomo.
So I think
Adams,
this is a pretty
Sliwa.
good on the mark presentation of where they are right now. Mamdani right here is at 36%. And this is a plurality election. If Mamdani has 22%, and that's the highest, Mamdani wins. You don't have to be over 50, over 40, none of that. Cuomo is at 24%. Sliwa at 16, Adams at 8, and Walden at 4. So the theory is that Cuomo would get all of, or the lion's share of, the Sliwa Adams votes. So with that, right, that would give him that would double his vote, correct?
Correct.
So he would be then at 48, which would be more than enough to win. Now, it never happens exactly like that. Never happens exactly like that. They don't all just transfer to one guy. Some stay home because they're disillusioned, and some go to different people. Does he have a big enough vote so it matters? Maybe.
He's withdrawn.
Maybe if it becomes a 1-point election. And these have become 1-point elections. I've been involved in 1-point elections. Would it be better for him to get out? Yes. Now, is it possible that any of this vote would go to Mamdani? Why do we think it would all go to Cuomo? The reality is that Mamdani beat Cuomo in the primary. Now, Andrew would be quick to note the following, but too quick because I didn't give you a chance to think about it. They are all theoretically conservative in some ways. Certainly the Sliwa voters are conservative. The Adams voters, I don't know if they're conservative. I don't know what they are. And I don't know Walden well enough to know. I think they're the good guy, good choice voters. So this Adams vote, I have to believe that some of that vote stays home. Some of that vote goes to Mamdani. And then some of that vote, assuming they all get out, goes to Cuomo. Now, Cuomo is not, at this point in time, particularly popular with the black vote.
Right.
He's not, no, I'm sorry. Mamdani is not particularly popular with the black vote, including the fact that he dishonestly passed himself off as a black in order to get into Columbia University. He lied, and there's almost a way he could have skirted by, but the jerk went one step too far. He described himself as a black African American. he is not a black African American. He might say he's an African American because he was in Africa when he came to America. Wasn't born there, but he was in Africa, living in Africa. But he was never black. And he wanted to make sure that he got that category because he wasn't getting into Columbia unless he were a black, because he wasn't smart enough. Well, the longest story of it is he didn't get into Columbia, but the cheating stayed after him. So I think he's going to pay a price for that. I think he's going to pay a price for that if the election stays this way. I think some of the Mondami vote will move off him. In fact, if I go back to earlier polls, a lot of the vote has moved. It is possible. It's possible if it stays this way. One of the two of them could beat him, Cuomo, Sliwa. Now, when I say possible, I mean possible. Not probable, not likely, probably not. But something could go wrong and somebody could catch on. Even Adams could pick up.
Now, people, let's keep it on New York, but people are trying to take this race and extrapolate from it, almost using it as a microcosm. Not sure how New York City has historically done in that regard. But is there anything that we can take
from my race?
From this New York race right now?
Well, I mean, I'm pretty much an expert on all the races from about 5 before me until everyone since me. Because in order to run, I studied the 5 or 6 before me. And there is nothing analogous about this race.
Okay.
Nothing. Because we've never had a shocking candidate like this. We always had a candidate that we thought was a solid American. And being a communist, you're not a solid American. The real question is, has New York been so brainwashed left wing and so dispirited in terms of politics? Let's look at de Blasio. De Blasio never should have won. De Blasio won there was no turnout the first time. He was a terrible mayor. People disliked him. He got everything wrong. There was everything wrong with him, including allegations of cheating and stealing money and using marijuana and, oh gosh, everything. And still, the Democrat vote stayed with him. They had every candidate running was better than him. But he won. Now, you get an idea of how bad a candidate he was. The minute he gets out of New York and tries to run, I don't think in the Democrat primaries he ran in, I don't think he ever scored better than 1% of the vote with one of the bigger war chests. Because as a New York mayor, you can raise a lot of money if you run for president. Got a lot of rich people in New York, and they're going to support you because they want you, particularly like somebody like him. They know he's not going to win, so they give him a lot of money. So when he comes back, he does favors for him because he's a slime ball.
Exactly.
But he went nowhere. I don't know what you can draw from other elections. In the other elections, for example, particularly mine, the Jewish vote was very important.
And how has the Jewish vote evolved since your time? Has
it diminished and diminished and diminished? It's diminished in terms of particularly moving out to the suburbs. So they are not as large a voting group as they were then. So
can you characterize it as a monolith to the Jewish vote, or pretty reliable?
It's a Democrat vote. Monolith, not like the black vote. The black vote is the only real monolith in the sense that it's, 90-10.
Hey, that's coming. That's our Trump.
That's not. It's 90. It's a rock of. The Jewish vote. It'll never get above. I mean, it'll always have a 20 to 35% non-democratic vote in it, or Republican vote. So that's a heavy vote, but it's not a monolith.
Okay, and guided by Israel
And
policy,
and it's changing. It's changing. And if you had a candidate that was particularly appealing to the Jewish voter on this ballot, it'd make a difference. Cuomo comes the closest to a candidate appealing to the Jewish voter. But a Republican on this board who would pick up all that Jewish vote also. I think that if it becomes Cuomo and Mondami, Cuomo will get the Jewish vote because he did in the past. He's not a great candidate for Israel. He still has to fight his own prejudices from his party about being pro-Arab, but he's a lot better for them than Mondami.
Well, I think that's a safe.
What?
That's a safe.
No, he's better. I mean, there's nobody. Well, I mean, of all the people that of all the groups that he is the most dangerous for, it's the Jewish. He hates Jewish people. He literally hates them. I mean, I can't imagine a Jewish voter even entertaining the thought of voting for him.
Now, keeping it on this, though, a lot of democratic socialist or, whatever the labeling they use around the country are using the Mondami moment to sort of rally around together. And so do you think we'll see more socialist candidates springing up across
Well,
the
they
country?
have a socialist candidate in Minneapolis.
Well, yes.
And I wonder how what happened in Minneapolis will change that. Jacob Fry got a good deal of attention. To describe Jacob Fry as the more moderate candidate is absurd by extremes.
Yes.
To describe Adams as the more moderate candidate, Adams is a moderate. He even has some conservative leanings to him.
Law enforcement
Please, Mr. Adams, don't get angry. He called me to wish me well, and I appreciate that very, very much. It means you can put politics above everything else. None of the others did. They would probably rather I die. Adams is too afraid of politics. I mean, he's too afraid he's not a battler. He's not a fighter. Who was a Democrat like that? Ed Koch. Ed Koch made a career out of fighting the Democratic Party. And one would have thought he was a Republican, but he was a Democrat. But and by doing that, it was also very artful. It gave him an extra power because they couldn't count on him. And although he had reached the zenith in New York that he could go because he couldn't get elected governor, he was a very major national figure in the Democratic Party. It was him and Cuomo, both were. And he could rally the Jewish vote all around the country and bring it around for a Republican.
Which makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know if that exists any longer. I don't know if there's a figurehead. I don't know if there's a Democratic politician that can do that. Schumer, of course, blew it completely by being just the opposite of Koch. Koch was a very, very tough, brave Jew. Schumer, the words tough and brave were just not applied to slimy ball Schumer, who I think, if he were asked what he is, would deny that he's Jewish.
He would dance around it a little bit.
Yeah. I mean, he just about denies it because he never stands up for them. He lets the squad, which is, a lot of it's based in New York with AOC. He lets them just beat the hell out of the Jewish community and says nothing. Other senators will step forward, not Chucky Boy. So
So what are your you've mentioned this before, the minority leader in the House, Hakeem Jeffries, as of now still hasn't endorsed, correct? And
They're really, I think they're afraid of.
do you see a
It's a
scenario?
long time. It's a long time. We have to modify this with a little bit of wisdom for people. It's a long time before the 2026 elections. However, that's modified by the fact that you and I are talking about it.
Yeah, it's here.
And
All
we're
the
not
text
talking about it
messages say it's here.
because we want to talk about it. We're talking about it because everybody else is talking about it. And we're talking about it because we get asked about it all the time. I was asked about it in Rome. I couldn't believe it. I'm in Rome and somebody comes up to me and says, what about this Mondami guy? You guys are going to get a communist? So there's a significance to this that is way beyond the usual race. And I think part of it is New York, but part of it also is that most of these Democrats who are communists hide it. You know, de Blasio was a communist, he hides it. Bernie Sanders is a communist, he hides it. You can come up with examples like that. They hide the fact that they're communists.
It's hard to hide from votes and proposals and
right.
So it's
But
hard
this
to hide.
this guy doesn't hide it, doesn't deny it. He has a guru, a manager, a guy who guides his soul as a I mean, communists really don't have a soul. Guides his pocketbook.
Speaking of, I heard his team is
The other thing about him is he's a rich boy. He's a spoiled little rich boy.
is his team is pretty rookie, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like
His
there's no
team
New
is
York,
completely for shit.
no New York pedigrees in there.
Well-
No wise sages giving him help.
Say what you will, that team beat Cuomo in the primary.
Pardon me?
Say what you will, but that team did beat Cuomo in the primary.
It did, but Cuomo ran a terrible race.
Terrible.
I would think if he got a second chance, being the professional that he is, it would be a much better team. If it isn't a much better team already.
And another question I have, when we see Hakeem Jeffries and others staying out of it, that tells me they also see a scenario coming up where they could have, you know, someone like Cuomo, where they might have another option for endorsing.
Oh yeah. They're
Well,
holding
and they
out.
don't want to alienate Democrats and say Iowa.
100% has to be a lot of pressure within the party. And I think there's going to be an issue here, particularly if Mondami is, people are good. If this gets orchestrated by the boss, they're going to try to turn that against Cuomo. Cuomo's going to have to deny it. Cuomo's going to have to say, I was the beneficiary of it, but I had nothing to do with it.
Right.
Because despite the fact that this will sound completely insane to you, and it should, the president is a negative in his own city, which is absurd. It is absurd. It's ridiculous. It's a sign of why this city has no hope. It's impossible. It's impossible to understand.
Try to have some hope.
It's impossible to understand. Possible to understand because when he was here, they liked him. He was not an unpopular figure in New York.
Trump was super cool until he decided to
Everybody
run
liked
against the machine.
him.
Yeah.
I mean, some people used to get on him because he was rich, get on him because of his personality. Some people just don't like rich people, but he did enough in terms of human interest and helping people, charitable, that he got over that. And he has a hell of a personality.
Oh yeah. And the show, I grew up on The Apprentice and I loved it. And I think a lot of people did.
So it's going to be very, very interesting to see what happens and how it affects politics outside of New York. You have the race in Minneapolis. I think that the shooting there at the Annunciation School may have killed the candidacy of the very, very left-wing candidate, and probably gave Fry a better chance. And it's really interesting that Fry gets elected as the law enforcement candidate.
Right, he's
when
the
he was
sensible
biggest-
one?
When he was the biggest reason for all of those riots against the police officers.
Yeah,
But-
these guys got it'll be interesting, yeah, with Minneapolis, when Frey becomes the so-called moderate. What does that tell you about Minnesota, Minneapolis, the Twin
I don't.
Cities?
What does it tell you about Minnesota? Look at the people they send to Congress.
It is baffling, you know, being from Michigan. You know, Steven and I are from Michigan, not far outside of maybe Metro Detroit. I think we have a lot of similarities with a place like Minnesota.
A lot of snow in common.
Yeah, and so it surprises me to see a state in the Midwest like that electing such radical,
look at Tim Walz.
radical politicians.
Look at Tim Walz.
Do
right?
we have
You
to?
know? Well, they're probably going to have some shitty parties up there in Minnesota.
Not,
when
not
that
too
happens.
much, Mayor. Mayor,
Yeah,
easy,
yeah,
easy,
Coming off the plane,
easy,
I'm a
easy.
big jackass.
Mayor, watch
I'm
your
a big
arms.
jackass.
Arms
calling
down,
Vote for
arms
me.
down.
I love
Excuse
Red
us.
China. I love Red China. China. Give me my Chinese
Don't
food.
reach.
I love Red China.
Yeah,
They gave me a lot
I
of
actually
money.
have to.
No BLT, no
Put a
BLT,
Stop to that.
no lifting.
Okay.
Then somebody would come in and go, the Chinese party agent who was running the campaign would come in and say, shut up. Don't say anything about China. That's a big secret. Shh. He was working for China. 30 times he went to China. 30 times he taught causes in China. He brought 50 kids a year there. What's that for? Grooming.
Indoctrination camp.
He said China should get involved in the Israeli Gaza situation. They'd be a moralizing force.
Right.
I
was
can't
it
think of anybody that would be worse as a moralizing force
They'd harvest all their organs.
than Gaza.
They'd harvest all the organs.
Yes, of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Or kill them. I mean, just, yeah. Oh, do what you're doing to your Muslims in your country, right?
Yeah.
The Uyghurs there, they're still around. I mean, shoot. Have they gone through them yet?
Well, we'll have to find out how much further this goes. But the Harvard Alumni Society is coming around. U.S. District Judge Allison Burroughs said that they got to stop taking money from Harvard because even though it's anti-Semitic. I gather that Allison Burroughs is not Jewish. I know she's not a Democrat, or she wouldn't rule that way. And but do you think that this is going to stop them from pursuing this? No. They know the courts now. I know the courts for sure. I stopped on day one. I said to myself, they may be fixed. I can't be sure. I'm out of here. I'm going to the legislature. At least I deal with people whose agenda is out on their sleeve.
And they're elected at least too. They're a
Shall
little
we
bit
take
accountable.
a short break?
Yeah, well, let's take a short break and we'll be right back.
Here we are, pretty much at the beginning of the process here at this pristine, I call it a laboratory. It's not like a factory, it's like a hospital. This is the beginning of the process for roasting. Deep grain, very good quality. Most people don't use this quality. We deal with small farmers because we like to know who we're dealing with. They give us the highest quality, all organic, non-GMO. You should know all Arabica beans, no Robusto, all Arabica. They're going to go into the roaster, and it'll get roasted for about 20 minutes or so. Oh my goodness, look at these. My goodness. You're going to want to specially order these. This is what goes into Rudy's coffee.
Are you ready for some action?
I'm ready for action.
Get the Elite TV plan only through the portal. 218 channels, and it's only $69.95 a month,
Wow.
including your free portal.
That's cheaper than everyone else.
Your favorite sports, movies, news,
Wow.
even daytime dramas. We're talking about ESPN, OAN, Newsmax, channels you can't get anymore in certain areas.
Compared to the competition, this is a way better deal.
Endless selection. Not to mention all the free music channels. There's over 700 premium and classic movies all ready to go.
Wow.
Plus, they got catch-up TV that allows you to go back and watch what you've missed or want to watch again. Cut your cable in half and get twice as much for free.
Way more channels for half the cost.
After the first year, the subscription then drops to $57.95 monthly,
Wow.
where you change or upgrade anytime. Go to QUXNow.com and get yours today. Use promo code RUDY. Act fast. These deals are selling out.
We're climbing now. Those airplanes were headed for Pease Air Force Base or Pease Airport. Pease Airport is a civilian airport. It was a base of the United States Air Force. It's now a National Guard airport. I believe F-14. I don't think they're F-16s. They might. Look at it. Good enough. Look at it. Look how big they are. Maybe we should take a ride over there, you know? Oh, yeah. We didn't even. Did we capture one of the really catastrophic sounds?
Even might have the best one of the day here.
Poor Raleigh over there. We had to take care of him, especially.
Oh yeah, get ready. This is like right above. Oh, thank you.
One more time.
How blessed were we to just get this today?
Pardon me?
We were so blessed to get this show today. Oh yeah, get ready.
We were very lucky. We were supposed to travel today. I wasn't able to do it. I couldn't get out of bed in the morning. Then I got better. And then we sat outside to get air. And all of a sudden, we got like a complete air show. We're only showing you some of it. This was like we got tickets to an air show.
Right.
You think they did it for me?
I was thinking that
They
almost.
did come right over the house.
Well, so the property that we're on has some natural features that make it a good marker, I think.
But I thought they were going to shake up the house when they.
Yeah.
So some of those passes, I mean, we're showing you some of these ones. There were some really low passes. It was quite something.
Yeah, some of these hunting cabins probably got shaken a little bit.
Right.
You know, these things can create damage.
That's right. So that was quite something. So as we were working, we kind of had our own little air show.
Pardon me?
As we were working today, we had our own air show.
No, but we missed the beginning of it. We saw a couple come by. We thought, well, we did get a couple here and there, but we don't get a sustained. These guys are getting ready for an air show, which I think is over the weekend, right? Or is it connected to the race?
Right.
It's Saturday, from what I understand. One of the
Sunday.
neighbors-
Is it Saturday?
this weekend,
Yeah.
we'll call it. And some of the locals are so stoked for it, volunteering and getting it all set up.
We'll have those pictures for you on Monday for sure. We love to get local stuff for you, because it's a way of getting to know America, right? And the more you get to know America, the more you love it. You have to be in love with this country. There's no reason why you shouldn't be. You deprive yourself of something God has given you that is so beautiful. You should always be in love with this country. No, there's no reason not to be.
Well, Mayor, what do you think of President Trump's decision to rename the Department of Defense to the Department of War?
I think it is very, very necessary right now. Couldn't have better timing for it. I actually don't think that Putin and Z are confused by this at all. Any of his negotiating, or they know if they cross him, he'll bomb them. Some of the younger ones might be more impressed by, is he showing decisive enough action? Is he being tough enough? Maybe the Ayatollah, although I think he's delivered the Ayatollah one hell of a message. Right. He's asking for more. I think his little boyfriend, the fatso in North Korea, could use a little reminding of who the adult in that relationship is.
Right.
I think the guy you could move big steps is Fatso.
Right.
I really think Fatso was very impressed with him. He's got to find a way to recapture that. And I don't know what it is, because he was the one dealing with him. I talked to him about it, but never got enough insight into Fatso to know exactly what kind of magic Trump was using on him. But he was definitely using magic on him. I think that's where he could be the most helpful to the country going forward. He could leave those relationships better organized than they are right now. So it's a delicate time, but with a great president for a delicate time. He's built up a lot of assets. He's made a couple of enemies, not very, very important ones. And I'm just checking to make sure I didn't miss something here. No, I think we covered most everything that we needed to cover to make sure that our people are, ready for a Good Friday.
Well, football is back, Mayor. The Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles are playing as we speak. So don't leave us now. And a lot of folks probably don't watch football. A lot of our audience is probably.
Well, when is
the first game is right now.
First game is right now. It's between
the Dallas Cowboys and Philadelphia Eagles, and you've already seen a player ejected for spitting.
Who do you pick?
I'm taking originally I was taking the Eagles, so I guess I'll just stick with that.
Who?
The Philadelphia Eagles should beat the Cowboys. Yes.
Yeah, I'm going with the Eagles too. I think the Eagles are the more solid team.
And then this happened just moments ago in the game.
When do you
That's snap.
Chris, that's for a snap. Chris,
This is Dallas and who?
for a snap.
Philly.
Philadelphia.
Oh, it's Dallas and Philly in the first game. Who do the Giants play?
Giants.
The Redskins.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty mean, Ryan.
I should have known that. I think they all open up with divisional games.
No, they usually start. It used to always be the Giants and the Cowboys.
Which would be a divisional game. But even now, right, because the Eagles and Cowboys are playing, that would mean the Giants and Redskins. And we will be referring to them as the Washington Redskins.
And learning a lot about indigenous culture while we do it.
And for our second hour show, Mayor, before we leave, do you want to just give your thoughts on your friend Robert F. Kennedy Jr.'s stellar performance today in front of the Senate?
Oh, I do. We spoke to Bobby a bit, and he can be on next week with us. We didn't want to rush him on and just have a short amount of time with him, because I do think there's a lot to review with him, and I want to be prepared, to do that, because look, he's at a disadvantage. He's new to our party. Not that he's a member, he's independent, but that's where his support is coming from our party. So people distrust him. They're not sure. They remember some of his earlier positions. And then on the Democrat side, some have followed him as they have followed Trump, but some have become very bitter, and they're trying every way they can to discredit him. And he needs a chance to explain himself.
Right.
Well, and it's
and nobody explains himself better than him. I'm looking at him smiling. To me, I know both those men. One is a political slick operator, and the other is an honest man.
Intelligence differential in this.
And these guys were in the same party working together about 5 years ago.
This is the biggest
See,
intellectual
the good thing
I've
about
seen.
Bobby, if you go read his book. It's a good book. It does appear to be very, very dense, but it's not. And I'm going to tell you why. Half of it is footnotes. You don't have to read them unless you want to read them. So you see something there you disagree with. You say, it can't be true. Well, Bobby gives you the footnote, and you go look it up, and you'll see that it is true. And maybe he used it there because exaggeration didn't hurt his argument at that spot.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Do I got a reply? Or Senator, you've sat in that chair for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing. You never asked the question why it's happening. Why is this happening? Today, for the first time in 20 years, we learned that infant mortality has increased in our country. It's not because I came in here. It's because of what happened during the Biden administration that we're going to end.
I'm going to let Senator Wyden respond briefly to that, and then we're not going to go over like we just did.
I mean,
He has to ask his staff about some obscure provision that he did something to help kids at some point in his career, but
What?
that he had to end up asking his staff for like some example of when he's like tried to help kids over the course of his career, and he came up with basically nothing. So
right.
When he tried to help kids?
Yeah.
Tried to help kids all the time.
No. Senator Warner.
Oh, Senator Warner. I mean, there's a period of time in New York, maybe I shouldn't bring this up, but hey, the truth is the truth. There's a period of time in New York where if you got in trouble for drugs and you wanted to talk to somebody about how to do a legitimate rehabilitation, there was nobody other than Robert Kennedy that you spoke to. And he was legitimate and good at it from the soul. And I would recommend people to him, and I was on the other side of him. He used to sue me I thought, for stupid things. And he did. If he gets on the show, we'll talk about it. He'll still disagree with me. But if I get Dershowitz on here, the same thing. Dershowitz and I litigated all the time. He thinks he was right. I think I was right. But we respected each other. He wasn't litigating like the way the Biden people do or the current Democrats do. With, they want to kill you. They want to put you in jail. They want to take away your property. They want to hurt your children. He was litigating with me on a principle that he was exaggerating, maybe, or maybe I was. But then we could settle down. We could get out of the advocacy part, and we could start talking, and we would end up agreeing, because we are Americans and we agree on the same set of principles. We interpret them differently. That's what we're arguing about, our interpretations. That's what America, I mean, when I read Kennedy's book in the middle of the pandemic, or toward the end of it, I had hope for America again. Because that's what I remember. That's what I remember, the broad spectrum that embraced both parties. And we grabbed part of that spectrum, and they grabbed part of that spectrum. And I always thought we grabbed the better half. I'm sure they thought they'd grab the better half. But that's the way it has to be. And then we had to come together on American things. We got to come together on American things. And they don't. Poof, they go off on us. So let's go. Let's do a little sports, and then we'll give people a chance to relax a little tonight. So
this is the first week football is back, Mayor. This is the first week of the NFL. Tonight, the Dallas Cowboys are playing the Philadelphia Eagles in Philadelphia. The Cowboys with a 1-touchdown lead as they enter the second quarter. Tomorrow night, the Kansas City Chiefs, that's Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, they take on the San Diego Chargers. Well, no, sorry, the Los Angeles Chargers.
Wait. Who does Taylor Swift play?
She plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, but who's she playing?
She roots for the Kansas City Chiefs.
What team is she playing?
The Los Angeles Chargers.
Oh, they're not well known enough.
They're not well known, but they got a star quarterback, and then Coach Jim Harbaugh.
Doesn't care. Everybody has a star quarterback.
And then LA is also the second largest media market in the country, so they kind of bank on that, getting good ratings. And so they played
the Giants.
And then the Giants play 1:00 Sunday. They're going to have a lot of 1:00
They
games
have the
this year.
usual time.
Yeah, the 1:00 window. Not too many prime time for the G-men this year.
They're playing
the Washington Redskins.
And where? In D.C.?
Good question. They might be in Washington. That's right. Well, Landover, Maryland.
Giants are away for the first 2 games of the season.
But the Washington Commanders, or the Redskins, of course, play in Landover, Maryland. Kind of like the New York Giants play in Secaucus, New Jersey.
Yeah, but everybody has been lying about that for so long, they don't know that.
Right.
And anyway, most people in America think New Jersey is part of New York.
That's also true.
Right? I mean, it's ridiculous.
So we have a big week of football. The Packers play Sunday afternoon, late game, 4:15. For those that enjoy football, it is back, and we're ready for it. And then, of course, with baseball, the Yankees have a pennant run here, right? They're in a pennant race with the Boston Red Sox and the Toronto Blue Jays.
America did a big thing yesterday. I'm going to show it to you as we go off here. So let me get the right one. Here. This is the right. This is the right one here. So that is South America, ladies and gentlemen. That's South America, not me. That's South America. That's South America. Up in the upper corner of South America, up there. Hard to see maybe, is Venezuela. See Caracas? Okay? That's a communist country now with a lot of oil. All right? So the other day we sent to that godforsaken land a group of fighters, and off I think it was around Caracas there, where you see, we found a boat with a large amount of, not fentanyl, but a new substance for fentanyl. Or was it fentanyl, Ted? No, I think we found fentanyl.
Drugs. Yeah, I'll have to read
We found
again.
both. We found fentanyl because it was the largest impurity fentanyl seizure we've ever made.
There's the boat on screen.
There's the boat.
Oh, just driving around, enjoying my drug running. Oh, wait. Hope nothing happens to me on this drug running trip.
Sorry?
Hope nothing happens to. Oh!
Goodbye, drug dealers.
Boom.
Goodbye, murderers. You're not murdering anybody with that fentanyl. You had probably about 50 or 60 murders in those bags and about $100 million worth of fentanyl.
And let's be honest, more than 50 or 60.
Yeah.
That's right. Well, that's what I call a real war on drugs, Mayor, if I've ever seen one.
This is when you have a president who wants our children not to die of fentanyl. Now, fentanyl is scary as hell because you can get fooled by fentanyl. If you look, I think you're stupid if you're taking marijuana. I think you're stupid if you're taking small amounts of cocaine or just little teeny amounts of drugs. You're stupid, you're stupid, you're stupid, and somebody misled you to tell you it isn't dangerous. It is dangerous. In and of itself, it hurts your brain. However, it does lead to other drugs. However, you don't even have to get there to get a overdose. You can be just starting and you're fooling around with your marijuana or you're fooling around with your whatever, and they stick a little too much fentanyl in it. You have a seizure and you are dead. And that's why the overdoses have increased. And they're not the old-fashioned overdoses where you see somebody with all kinds of bags out there and they just took all kinds of drugs, and at least they had a fighting chance. They made a decision to do it. These people do it. They don't even know they're doing it. They think they're getting themselves out of their troubles and they don't have to think about them. This is inhumane, indecent, terrible, terrible, taking advantage of somebody. You make 12 grand, big deal. Thank you, President Trump, for getting on top of this. Nobody else would. Too tough. If you want to get money out of China to do this, China will pay you. Too much if you want to get money out of Turkey, Turkey will pay you. Too much if you want to screw around with the Mexicans, because they'll pay you. Not too much if you're a decent, honest man. Good job, Mr. President. Thank you. So, Ted, I want to show your shirt, please. We got a great crew here. These boys, I have to say, I am enormously appreciative, Ted, of all that you did for me from the time that I was seriously injured until the time you got me here. Even now, all they do is tell me, Rudy, don't bend. Rudy, don't move so fast. Rudy, don't. And they're under strict instructions from Dr. Maria, but they are following on their own too. And Stephen came all the way from Michigan to help because he knew it would be a little too much just for Stephen. Of course, he probably had no choice because Raleigh told him if he didn't come, Raleigh, the wonder dog, would bite him.
And to Stephen's credit, didn't have to ask him or anything. I don't even think he heard from us yet. He was already on the road. He heard the news reports. He was already on the road.
That was a roller coaster, baby.
And at first, he didn't even. Yeah,
that was a roller coaster.
Okay, so my son told the president, when the president asked how I was doing, that he said, my father's a beast, which makes it sound like, you don't have any feelings. I do.
Right.
I do. And it's so wonderful. I think it gets you better when people care about you. So when I start thinking that people are caring about me, a different hormone gets into my system. And I start to feel better. And I know how to milk it. It does hurt, though, I have to say. So we're going to see what happens tonight.
We'll watch some football.
We got a football game to watch. We always have these things to catch up on. I got a couple of books and I got a project too. And we'll be back tomorrow night, the 8th and the 9th. No, tomorrow's the 8th and the 9th. No,
tomorrow's the 5th.
No, the 5th and the 6th. I'm thinking, I think we're next week and we're getting toward September 11th. All I've been doing is thinking about September 11th. The last couple of days, I have been dreaming about it, thinking about it.
Today's weather was not much different, probably.
We're a week away.
No, isn't that interesting? That sky was a September 11th sky.
Yep.
Wow. Well, there you go. Look at that sky. Look. That wasn't doctored. That wasn't nothing done to that sky. That's the way it looked. Oh. There we are. I ask you to pray. I'm going to ask you to pray for the people of Israel and for the people of, you have to pray for the people of Ukraine, people of Russia, and the people of Iran. I want you to add into this now the people of America who are being pushed toward communism, and our brave, super brave president and all of his followers. Because I'm watching Teddy today, dealing with some of the watching Bobby today, and some of the others that are on his staff. He's got the right people. He's got little Trumpies there pushing away the same way with the big heart and the feeling for the people. And there's going to be a great administration if we can overcome the naysayers in the Senate. May even be great if we don't. Because he just gets things done. He doesn't care. So thank you very much. We'll be back tomorrow night. We'll be back at 7 on Lindell TV as well as X. And then we'll be back on X and all the other social media channels at 8. And we promise you a real good wrap-up show tomorrow night. So thank you, Stephen, and thank you, Ted, and I should thank Dr. Maria, who's at home.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you.
And you all did such a great job for me. God bless America.
It's our purpose to bring to bear the principle of common sense and rational discussion to the issues of our day. America was created at a time of great turmoil, tremendous disagreements, anger, hatred. There was a book written in 1776 that guided much of the discipline of thinking that brought to us the discovery of our freedoms, of our God-given freedoms. It was Thomas Paine's Common Sense, written in 1776, one of the first American bestsellers, in which Thomas Paine explained, by rational principles, the reason why these small colonies felt the necessity to separate from the Kingdom of Great Britain and the King of England. He explained their inherent desire for liberty, for freedom, freedom of religion, freedom of speech, the ability to select the people who govern them. And he explained it in ways that were understandable to all the people, not just the elite. Because the desire for freedom is universal. The desire for freedom adheres in the human mind, and it is part of the human soul. This is exactly the time we should consult our history. Look at what we've done in the past and see if we can't use it to help us now. We understand that our founders created the greatest country in the history of the world, the greatest democracy, the freest country, a country that has taken more people out of poverty than any country ever. All of us are so fortunate to be Americans. But a great deal of the reason for America's constant ability to self-improve is because we're able to reason, we're able to talk, we're able to analyze. We are able to apply our God-given